All right, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about best practices for recording. We're going to kind of talk about ways that you can kind of help with the sound. And also we will kind of look at how to soundproof. I will warn you, my house is not soundproof today just because I'm kind of getting this lecture recorded on the fly. I didn't plan on doing it tonight. So there's a couple things that we'll look at, things to help you. And then I'm also going to kind of give you some tips of things that I have done when I have recorded radio spots from home or on the go and stuff like that. All right. So good sound quality has a lot to do with what's going on in your surroundings. If you are in a house where there's a lot of madness going on, you know, screaming, laughing, just a few minutes ago and probably any minute now, my dogs were going crazy. So obviously there's noise. It's going to be picked up by even a microphone, such as right now I'm using the microphone on my computer. So it will pick up all these sounds. So we'll look at how to soundproof, an appropriate microphone distance, an angle. One thing is to just safely assume that every environment will need some help with it. For me right now, my children are not home, but my dogs are, my cats are, I live near a fire station. So these are all things, noises that could distract you from my message. So if I were recording a news spot or a podcast or anything like that, I would want to make sure I have soundproofed myself a little bit so that I'm not picking up all these crazy outside noises. And luckily, it's not really that hard to create your own quiet space. And when you hear me say some of the things and you read some of the things the books suggest, you're going to be like, that is so crazy. But if you try it out, you will find it actually does work. So one thing that really does work, and you've probably got plenty of them laying around your house, is building a pillow tent. I mean, I could grab these pillows from my couch. I could put one on each side of my computer and one behind my computer, and then maybe lay one on top, you know, literally a pillow fort. And that will help with blocking out sound because it's kind of focusing all the sound right into my computer. So that is completely an option to kind of distract outside noises from coming in, and it creates a sound barrier. So you want to look for a space that doesn't have an echo. So one thing, if you've got, if you're in a room with all tile flooring, it does tend to have a little bit of an echo. So carpeted floor. And I know it sounds really weird, but you could sit in your closet. That's a great location to kind of hide because you can close the doors, you can build your pillow fort, and you really knocked out a lot of that outside noise. Glass window, like windows, all that kind of stuff, that could also cause a little bit of an echo. But this is for, I do want you to keep in mind, this is for a class. I am not expecting professional level podcasting. So please, by all means, do not think that. But like I said, students tell me every semester, yep, I recorded this in my closet because that was the quietest space in my home. So it's always an idea. So microphones, here's the thing. You absolutely do not need to go buy a microphone for this course. If you have one laying around, if you have a microphone attached to a gaming headset, that is great. If you don't have those things, please do not go out and buy one. There is a microphone in your computer that will work just as well for the purposes of this class. Now, if you decide you want to continue podcasting later on, which I've had several students that have continued podcasting for other purposes, if you choose, then you may consider, there's a lot of options out there. I have just something real simple. It wasn't real expensive. I think this was like 20 or 30 bucks. So nothing too crazy, but it still gets me my microphone, my sound guard, all that kind of wonderful little things. So we kind of already talked about smaller space. That's really helpful. Try to make the interview recording as easy as possible for your guest. So I think about, if I'm going to be recording, if I'm doing a solo podcast, like I could hang out in my closet. It's totally fine. That's totally going to work. But do you want to take your guest? Like, let's just say you're interviewing your grandmother. Do you want to grab grandma and drag her into the closet, make her sit on the floor with you to do your interview? Probably not. So you want to try to make it as comfortable as possible. You can give them some tips if you're doing long distance. So one thing that really does work out is you could do your interview through Zoom. And when you record on Zoom, it will pull video and it will give you just an audio option. So you can also make that as an option, or you can record on your phone or any other programs that you may have on your computers already. So technology, it's provided us a lot of free, low-cost recording options. Kind of already given you a couple. Obviously, there's going to be pros and cons to everything. Things like we're using Podbean. Podbean's app does have recording capabilities. The only thing that kind of sucks is you kind of have to do it all in one take because it doesn't really let you edit too much. So, but there's tons of things that you could use. You've got, most phones have a voice recorder on there. You could use that. Like I said, Zoom is a really great option. If you've got a Mac, I know some of you have a Mac for your school issued computers, you could use that. So lots of options. So don't feel pressured, but there's tons of options. And if you're not sure, please reach out, talk to me. We will figure out a way for you to record your content. So to record the interviews remotely, you can honestly do it pretty cheap. You can do it with your, like I said, with your phone. If you're doing that, you're going to want to kind of keep your phone, I would say 6 to 8 inches. You don't want it right here. It's not going to be good, but you also don't want to have it all the way out here because then you're going to kind of get that echo effect and it's going to be kind of hard to hear. So I would say right about 6 to 8 inches is probably the furthest you want to go with that. Again, you can use the voice memo app. Other options, you could send your interviewee the questions. They can read them, answer them, and you can edit, do your recordings and kind of piece it together if you would like. So it's really, it kind of depends on what level you have. But in all honesty, this can absolutely be done at one time, one setting, one recording. That will totally work. If you don't want to have your guests do their own recording, there's a free browser-based audio recorder, cleanfeed.net. So check it out. It is mentioned in the textbook. So it gives you a complete walkthrough of how to use cleanfeed.net in the textbook. Video conferencing, so I've already mentioned Zoom. So there's Zoom, there's Skype, there's FaceTime, there's Signal, House Party, Google Hangouts. There's tons, Microsoft Teams, lots of options for recording your audio. Again, I personally think Zoom has the best audio quality out of all of those, but we can definitely figure out a way to make it happen. Microphones, like I said, you can have an external microphone. It could be this, it could be a headset portion. I'm going to leave that completely up to you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm not going to be too picky about that. But if you have any questions about recording, how to build a sound barrier, how to try to find a good space in your home, please do not hesitate. Reach out. We could talk it through. But I hope you all have a great day.